Welcome to Big Marv's world.
People used to connect using the World Wide Web. They call it internet, with different types of social media. Store the information sort of like encyclopedia.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Big Marv here. Welcome back to another episode of Big Marv's Network. Today on the show, we got my man Evan Lipford. Did I say that right? Did I butcher it?
No, you're good.
All right, good. We got Evan on the show. He's a fellow entrepreneur. You work at home now, right? Or you still got a daytime job?
No, I'm full time. I'm actually at my office right now.
Perfect.
I haven't had a day job for a while. Full time, I own and/or have equity in 5 businesses in Colorado Springs. So
Nice.
absolutely.
Well, welcome to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your story, where you're at, where you're going, and you know.
Excellent. Yeah, my name's Evan. I'm 26 years old. Have a few kids at home and whatnot. And like I said, I have equity and/or own 5 separate businesses in Colorado Springs across 5 separate industries. Lucky enough to be able to operate out of a space in downtown Colorado Springs off of Tejon. So that's been very, very nice for us. Quit my day job probably about a year and some change ago. I was originally into the personal training space, and then I got back into the service industry pertaining to serving and bartending. So I could build up my business a little bit. That freed up my hours, especially with kids at home. Gave me the ability to work, if you want to call it a night shift, I guess, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that left to be, early in the day, all the time that I really needed in the world to get my foundation built for my business. My first one, which was a business called Alpha Locker Strength Conditioning. And from there, I kind of slingshotted, got some capital coming in, was able to buy some time, was able to get involved in technical analysis a little bit, make a little bit of money trading, and just kind of ping pong my way to where I am now. It's a, grinding out process, but I've been able to generate the capital, put it where I want to put it, build a team, and everything's been good from here. We have coast-to-coast clients for my main business, which is a business called Commerce Puzzle. We are a brand consultancy and advertising consultancy firm with departments that actually deliver. So we have department for web design, SEO, and et cetera.
Nice.
The fact that we're a consultancy firm is really where we are with our heart and soul. So we do everything from, whether it be web design, SEO, graphic design, or really what our forte is helping people build a strategy based around where they want to be, and we help them get there.
So how did you get started in, serving clients in this capacity?
Well, when you say this capacity, are you referring to where I am now as far as being in a position to be able to have the income to have an office, or just getting started in space in general?
Just in general, being able to serve them, with a team, with a full done-for-you deliverables,
it really started because I got into a bad situation with my first business pertaining to a web design contract that just did not turn out very well. My father's an IT tech. I just kind of always grew up familiar with technology in general across a wide range of whatever it may be. So it was kind of a natural transition for me. And really, I feel like if you enter any business with the idea to build a business versus the idea to generate more work for yourself, you can build a team, and you can, if you have the ability to relinquish some power and give up some of your, put your ego aside, I suppose, it makes it easy to bring people in and to use other people for the talents that they have and to, generate income. That's the easy part when I think about it with people. We're naturally, community based. So this is all kind of, as long as I let it grow naturally, I don't have too much interference.
Now, whenever I first started, because I do the same thing, right? Like strategy and automation is like my shit.
Right.
And I have full teams to deliver deliverables, right? If they want a full done for you service. I remember early on, though, I was working 60, 70 hours a week,
Mm.
fucking trying to do everything myself, designs, builds, automation,
Yes.
you name it. I was serving the client, doing everything myself. Like,
It's terrible. It's
I imagine you can relate at some point. So how was it for you, like giving up some of the control and relying on team members versus doing it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, at my house, in my kitchen table, I have two giant holes from where my chair sits. From when I did work from home, from so many hours, those long ass days, like you're talking about, where you try to do each and everything. And when you're doing that, it does develop an intimate relationship with each different part of your work. And the scary thing about strategy is everything links together. So it wasn't easy relinquishing any kind of say so at all. But what made it a little bit easier was doing it in a fashion where I just kind of treated it as I was jumping off a cliff versus trying to scale down slowly. So I
Yeah.
built up, so I built up my, I built up my personal strategy for the corporation for Commerce Puzzle, as far as how I wanted people to function, how I wanted things to be delivered, what time I want things to be delivered, and it's worked out for me since. So I really think the mark of a good business owner is not how much you can take on, but how much you can let go. And I've tried to live by that, and it's not been easy by any means because of that intimate relationship that you get, solving a problem at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning when nobody else is there but yourself for the 80th time.
Oh
Um,
yeah. And it is especially like, with a personal brand where like you, the person, your what is it, your relationship or your reputation, is on the line with every build, right? Because
mhm.
like when people look at me, they're like, it's Big Marv, and even though I have team members that take care of everything, if anything goes bad, it's not Big Marv's team fucked up, it's Big Marv fucked up,
Of course, of course.
so yeah, I know where you're coming from, where like you're bringing on your team members and you're starting to scale, so you're doing less and less of some of that hands-on technical work and more of just working on one-on-one with the client, lining out the initial strategy and automation, and then
Absolutely.
having your team just actually deliver on your strategy versus you coming up with the strategy, you building everything out and doing it.
And to give an answer that I
No.
suppose is a little more practical, I guess the real life transition, as far as what I was able to do, it makes it easier, in my opinion. I treat my clients like this as well. If you break the major tasks down into extremely easy tasks, so there's no reason that you can't, theoretically speaking, if you have enough time to pay all these people or enough income to pay all these people, can't break down a very comprehensive SEO campaign into a bunch of entry level positions that you can pull people off the street in, plug them in, and have them do it.
Yeah.
So as long as you build it that way, and that's kind of how the trajectory and the mindset that I've had, building a system and building a team for myself. But it's made it a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So I guess a lot of my initial, you know, uh, when I was reluctant, it was mostly my nerves more than actually. So
Yeah, for me, it was mostly like I'm the only one that can do this. I don't trust anybody to not fuck it up. You know what I'm saying?
it's hard not to
Like
get.
it's
Hard not,
hard, but like you said, and like if you guys listening in, like remember what he said. Like you want to. There's no reason, especially if you're good at what you do. There's no reason that you can't break it down into a bunch of subtasks and
exactly.
iron out processes where you can bring the next person on, because you heard how he says he has systems and processes in place, which is the key if you want to grow and scale, because you never want to be the single point of failure in your business. So that's
Absolutely.
how you scale, is by developing replicatable processes that
100%.
anybody, whether they've fucking ever touched it or built it before or not, having those processes where they can come in, pick up your exact process and plug in the different variables for each client. And then that
Yep.
frees you up to actually do more of what you love, right? So like, I don't know if you can relate to this, but me as an agency owner, while I love building funnels and I love the automation and everything, my favorite part is the actual initial strategy and designing which platforms we're going to use for fulfillment. Right.
Exactly.
So
So
like
that that right
I can
there.
do the design and everything else, but like my heart and soul is designing that initial strategy, designing the content strategy, deciding what automation platforms we're going to go with, and then going to
Absolutely.
my team and saying, hey, we got a new ClickFunnels build or a new WooCommerce build or a new Shopify build or whatever it is, and then having my processes for each one of those. And that's how I was able to scale, and now I work like 20 hours a week versus 70, you know.
Yeah, you're definitely speaking my language. Building a system it's everything, but having the ability to break things down into subtasks has been something that I've had to depend on. But when you say your favorite part is and I say that to I guess acknowledge the subtask thing that you were saying, but the part that you just said about a strategy session being dedicated to figuring out what type of software that you're going to use to solve a client problem. To me, it makes me smile because that's the mark of a good agency owner in my eyes. Because as you probably know, there's a lot of this industry, where people can kind of come in the back door, connect themselves to something that they think may work, and then do bad business.
Yeah.
And for somebody
It's terrible.
for somebody
It
who
makes
says
people like me look terrible.
exactly, and
Like
the fact that you take the
I've
time to
been in the
select the
game for
software is a
20
big deal.
plus years, and I got people that take a course for 6 months and they're like charging $5,000 for a funnel build that they like the funniest thing I see, right? Like, cause I'm part of these different groups and stuff,
Right.
and like kudos to people like whoever's watching this, don't take this as me shitting on you, but just take this as like you should probably check yourself before you wreck yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I see people brand new, right? Because the gurus, the coaches, and everything are like, this is a valuable skill set. Go out there and pitch a client and close them on $2,000 a month, or $5,000 a month, or 10,000, or whatever the fuck it may be, but some
Right.
ridiculous number that some Joe Blow that's brand new at doing this should not be charging people,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
But they're coming into these groups. Yeah, I just signed my first client, $2,500. Woo! Now, who has built a funnel for the gym industry before, and how do I get them leads? I'm like,
Yeah. No.
what,
No.
bro? Why are you charging
Exactly.
$2,500 then? Like,
Exactly.
if you have no idea, if you've never done that for them before, why are you positioning yourself, charging them what I fucking charge them when I'm a pro, right? So why are you charging them pro rates and you're an amateur? And then you're gonna burn the shit out of them. So whenever I pitch them, they're gonna be like, "Well, I already tried this guy over here, and he charged me $3,000. You're charging me $2,000. You're saying
Exactly.
you're gonna do a better job than the $3,000 guy." You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it
saying?
definitely
It's
creates the
like,
skepticism, and when you can always spot things, when you're in an industry and you see another owner, there's certain things that people say where you can kind of spot where they're at, and yeah, taking the time to dedicate strategy sessions to pick out what software you're going to use to solve a specific problem is probably the biggest difference I would say between somebody who runs an agency the right way and somebody who does not.
yeah, and I can't tell you how many people that I've worked with, and they'll come to me and they're like, I already purchased X, Y, and Z. Is there any way we can make this work? And I'm just like, no, you should have talked to a guy like me before you purchased
Before,
X, Y, Z.
yeah,
Now
yep,
you just learned a life lesson. Now, granted, there's 1,000 different ways to do this, so you
mm-hmm.
don't have to bank on my strategy. You can go find somebody that uses those platforms you purchase and figure that shit out, but I'm not your
Exactly.
guy. But you'll have amateurs that don't really know, and they'll just position themselves, right? Because they're hungry for the money. They're not doing it out of passion yet. It's because they're doing it out of like, I got to make that $500, so I'm just going to do what I need to make this work. So they put themselves and their clients in a bad position because
Absolutely.
they're doing it for the wrong reasoning, the wrong, right? They don't really got the strategy down yet. I have clients all the time where like it's a detractor. I have it set as a detractor on purpose. Like to have a call with me, it's $250,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm like, if you can't afford to have a strategy session with me, you can't afford to hire my team,
Period.
right? And I can't give you the best strategy without sitting down with you and talking about your business, developing a value stack, deciding how we're going to market and fulfill whatever product or service that you have.
And
Right?
to that
I
point,
can't
that's
just
another.
give you like, this is how much it's going to cost and this is what platforms we're going to use, because I don't know shit about you or what we're delivering.
Exactly.
Right? So
It's a
if somebody
personal
just comes
service,
to
and a
you and
lot of people
says,
don't realize that.
I have a cookie cutter package that's going to serve you, you can tell like you haven't been doing this long enough to
Mm-hmm.
know that like cookie cutter packages don't serve everyone. Yeah, you can have a process for different platforms that you utilize when you need to serve that person, but how do you know which ones to go with if you haven't had that initial conversation? You know how you fuck yourself up doing that is like sometimes you'll fucking pitch those cookie cutter prices and like it pans out, it works out, like it actually turns out to be an easier job than you bid on.
Right.
9 times out of 10, you fucking bid too low because you didn't have that session first, and then you get in there and you see what a shit show it is, and you're like, "Fuck, what did I
You
get
can't do
myself
it. That
into?"
prevents scaling. At some
Yeah,
point, you have to let that go. Like accepting accepting a client without reviewing the scope of work first is just. I mean, I think it's unacceptable. Probably. I think it's.
yeah. It's just bad business
It
practice.
is. It's bad practice
Yeah,
on both sides. Like you said, you're probably most likely going to fuck yourself, and you lose the chance to set boundaries too. And a lot of people forget that that's what that stuff is for. When you grab a scope of work, there's verbal boundaries that have been traded and expectations that are set on on the client side. If that's never visited and they're just giving you money, a lot of questions are going to come and a lot of expectations are going to come your way. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can we raise this? I would rather not. I'd rather not. Completely feel you on that one.
yeah, exactly. Like, how many times have you had clients that they don't have any idea how any of this shit works,
Mm-hmm.
and you turn on a campaign, and they think they're gonna get rich overnight because they've seen all these Facebook ads about once you start running ads, now you're gonna fucking buy a Lambo in a week. It's
Absolutely.
like that
Absolutely.
is not how this works. That's not how this works at all.
It's. I think eventually. I don't know. I think about this a lot. I don't know where we're at in terms of. There's going to be some sort of enlightenment. I think. I think at some point people are going to take a deep breath and then say, okay, it's time that we treat business online just as we treat a brick and mortar business. As soon as that happens, I think a lot of this stuff is going to, stop. At no point is a mom and pop shop, medium-sized business or a large corporation ever going to let somebody walk into their shop, pitch them something that's just popular online like these people do in a Facebook group and then accept it. So just because we're online, it's kind of a different atmosphere and it lowers the expectations a little bit. So that's one thing I do tell my clients is if you can treat your online business with the same diligence that you would treat, a brick and mortar business, and a lot of these problems won't come about because it's going to be very hard to walk into somebody's shop and sell them face to face on, some kind of concrete marketing idea. It's not the same thing. It's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
like a
Curious.
good way to think about it is what we're doing is just a digital version of direct response marketing,
That's it.
right? Like a car salesman. Hey, you just roll up to a fucking car lot, right? The dude's not gonna take you and then come show you some fully loaded $60,000 car the minute you get there, right?
Exactly.
So think of it this way. That example I just gave you is the equivalent of somebody adding you on Facebook and then shooting you a message immediately saying, buy my shit,
And it
right?
works though.
Like,
That's the thing that's crazy is that shit works a lot of the time.
but it doesn't work on average as much as people coach and say it works, right? Like me, I
Absolutely. Absolutely.
laugh people away, and the average person I talk to does the same thing. They're like, fuck you, I don't know you, I'm not gonna buy your shit unless the thing that you're offering me is so low ticket and so low risk that is what the fuck ever, but on average people are pitching you high ticket and they don't know you at all. Where
Mm-hmm.
that same car salesman, at least the good ones, right, they're going to talk to you a little bit, they're going to get to know you, they're going to get to know your family and why you're buying a car, right? They're going to get to know, like, do you need a truck because you want to take your family out to the mountains and you need to load
Exactly.
a big load? Do you have multiple kids? Are you going to need like a minivan or an SUV? Or are you just a single guy and you like to go fast? Like, what kind of car do you need, what's going to meet your needs, right? That's like a good car salesman is going to get to know you. He's going to take you on a test drive, and he's going to tell you to experience the car and get to know the car. Imagine you driving this car to your camping trip or to your race trip or whatever. Then he's going to get you back to the dealer and position you and try to sell you based on those pain points that he just learned that you had, because he took the time to get to know you and build that relationship. Then he's going to sell you that car, and you're going to buy it because he's going to know your exact pain points and how to sell you on those pain points and why that car solves those pain points for you.
And then how about the process though, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. What about what that process does to rebuttal objections before they even come up? A lot of people don't realize that when you go through a process that is that in depth, for my company, we call it a culture session. So when we're just trying to identify pain points, to use some similar lingo here. So when you go through that process and you pull that information out and you outline a wireframe or a strategy that's based on pain points that were extracted through conversation, the likelihood that you're going to get an objection throughout the duration of your project decreases dramatically, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's huge. It's huge. The process is huge. The end result is better. And more importantly, here's really what we have learned is you can't charge any of these mid-sized businesses. You can't walk into a mid-sized business and even pitch any of this stuff if you're not on a level where you're doing your research and you're doing your strategy and you're familiar with market research and you're familiar with how to strategize and how to extract information from a company. They need that. A lot of times, if you go to these mid-sized companies, their board of directors will require that, if it's a design project, they'll require that 3 separate companies come and pitch them so they can ensure that they're spending their money.
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes they'll have all 3 motherfuckers in the same room.
Yeah, and when you're trying to,
hey, look at what you guys prepared here.
Exactly.
Go ahead, eat each other up. Let's see what you got going on.
It's a necessity. It's a necessity.
People don't realize that, especially if a local business is incorporated. Guess what? They have a whole board of people. It's not just one motherfucker making the decision anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you want the clients that are going to bring you the mansions and the Lambos and sign $10,000 to $30,000 retainers.
You have to be prepared. Absolutely.
You have to be on that level to be able to work with those people, and it's very important to have that process built out with the pain points to where nobody gives a fuck about the product or service anymore. It's the face attached to it and how that face is going to solve a problem.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, how are you solving my problem? I don't give a fuck about how much money it costs. Like, the money's irrelevant if you're going to give me the results and it's going to solve my problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I just started doing this recently. So one of my earliest tactics for landing new clients, right? That's one of the most common questions newbies have coming into this game is, how do I get clients, quality clients that aren't going to be a pain in the ass, right? Because for me, a pain in the ass client is somebody that doesn't trust me or my expertise. They have their way of doing it. They always have their ideas of how I should be marketing their shit. And it's like, no, you hired me as the expert. I'm going to tell you what content to create, and you're going to let me do the job you hired me for, right? Exactly. But in the beginning, right, when you're establishing yourself as that expert, you fucking get those shitty clients.
Absolutely.
Right? So for me, how I dialed in the clients that I wanted, right, I would research them a little bit. I would look at their website, see what kind of offers they had, et cetera, and I would build a funnel and buy a domain and link up the funnel, fully automated and everything, and then just send them the link.
That's it.
And say, check this out. And then they see the entire funnel in person, and then the call to action on the thank you pages. Wouldn't you like something like this for your business? And it's their fucking logo, and it's their sell, and it's exactly in there, and it just blows their mind, and that gets them every time. Absolutely. And my buddy Matt Plapp, he specializes in the restaurant industry. That's his jam. It doesn't matter what restaurant or franchise it is. He's got them on lock. So he told me about a strategy that he started using, which is very similar to that, where he builds a demo funnel, but instead he preloads a video sales letter funnel on a tablet and sends them a tablet in
And
a graphic custom box that has his face on the fucking front of it, right? So it's like when those tablets go to those business owners, like he closes them every time. So I started doing the same thing, and these aren't like those shitty tablets that you can preload on fucking Vistaprint for $10. These are nice, like $100 tablets.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I posted that strategy in one of my groups, and somebody's like, damn, like I like that. That's a creative idea, but you're dropping $100 and they might not say yes. The way I'm looking at it is like my contracts start at $5,000.
Yeah, that's not it. You
Like,
can't even. Well, that again, that's
like
a lack of.
if I sign one, it's gonna cover
That's a lack
it.
of experience thing. Yeah,
But
People just not-
think of it this way. I sent a preloaded tablet to a business owner. Whether they sign with me or not, they telling that story to someone.
period. Yeah,
They're
that's
gonna show my video to someone. Like, look at this crazy motherfucker sent me a tablet with his face on it.
that's the danger of online marketing right now.
They don't buy, right?
Ways though. That's the danger.
Yeah, it's like maybe they don't buy, but maybe their business owner friend or their doctor or somebody that they show the video to and tell this crazy story to watches my video and looks up Big Marv on YouTube or looks up Big Marv on Facebook.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But I have yet to send a tablet out to a business I didn't close. So that's the other side of the coin, is like when you spend the time researching like who you want to work with and exactly what pain points you're going to solve, and you present it to them that way of like, look, this is an experience you're never going to forget. I'm your guy. Like people are going to eat that up. And the other reason I encourage people to research and vet their clients first is like, big thing for me is passion projects, right? Like I always encourage everyone to only work with clients and people that they are head over heels and love with whatever the fuck it is they're doing.
Help.
Right? Like you need to be passionate, because like that, one, you're going to be more happier when you're doing that work, and two, you're going to provide better results because you know what it is that you're pushing even better. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that? Would you say that it's more important to align with clients and projects that align with things that you're passionate about, or would you say no, just chase that high retainer and just deliver on whoever wants it?
So if the person that we're talking about is somebody who's just getting started out, I would even almost go past the recommendation. I would say that it's even probably a necessity to link up with somebody, with a client that's doing something that you're already passionate about. Because again, we're going right back to the strategy thing. How in the hell do you build strategy without background knowledge or without knowing how to do the research to get that background knowledge? So out of the assumption that you're just starting out and don't know how to pull that research yet, lining up with something that you're passionate about is absolutely going to give you a tremendous boost amongst where you could be. You're going to be able to solve a lot of problems that come up that you're not familiar with, as far as problems that can kind of come up with an invoice. You're going to be able to ask a lot of questions. You're going to be able to give a lot better recommendations. I think it's a necessity. I really do.
Oh yeah, and like, and I 100% agree with you. My own experience, right? So I worked at Microsoft for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
From a technical aspect, I loved my job, right? There's plenty of benefits to love about my job, but I'm also working for big ass corporations that are sometimes losing millions of dollars an hour and they don't even blink an eye.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm like, I want to do what I'm doing here, but make a bigger impact on people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started, I was just running my agency and I would work with anybody. It didn't fucking matter. I was just like, I'm Big Marv. I'm going to help everybody. Right. So I would just take on any client. So like after 7 months, I hit 6 figures, but like I'm building fucking doctor funnels and real estate funnels and like all these other fucking funnels, and half of them I'm like, man, fuck this shit. Like I built a cat funnel for someone, and then like 6 months I was repixeled and retargeted with fucking cat videos and shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, if I have to look at another fucking cat video, you know what I'm saying? It's not that I hate cats. It's just like I'm not really a big fan of it either. You know, and it's just like,
if you spend enough time doing something that you're not a big fan of.
Yeah, exactly. It just got to the point where I'm working 60 or 70 hours a week, just collecting money, and the money's good, but it's just like this is no better than me collecting a check at Microsoft. Like there's
Absolutely.
like I'm not happy with what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I'm free now, making my own schedule. Woo fucking who? Like
And then swamp yourself out.
I just swamped myself out doing a bunch of fucking work that I hate doing, you know?
And to try to discourage people from going that route, let me tell you this. That's almost a worse feeling than it is just not liking the job that you have to go to, because at least it ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get fucking swamped out and you can't, and there's nowhere to go, you can't turn left, you can't turn right, you haven't built a system yet, you can't stop. Obviously, it doesn't make any sense to not keep going. You're just like, fuck. And some of those days turn to weeks, and some of those weeks string together and turn to months. So yeah, if you guys can avoid that, I definitely should.
Oh yeah. I completely went through a phase of closing down my agency, taking a step back, and just being like, fuck this. You know, like, literally, it got to a point where I was like, fuck this. Like, I had some money saved up, so I literally took like a 1 month fuck this vacation.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I was like, and I even have people come to me all the time. They're like, dude, you built a 6-figure agency in 7 months. Close the fucking doors. Like, I literally went from $23,000 1 month to $7,000 the following month because I was like, fuck this, I'm done. Like, I'm not doing it anymore, you know? And they were like, why didn't you just hang with it? Why didn't you do it? Because I'm like, dude, the whole point of me getting into this game is to encourage people to chase their passion and create a life of freedom. How can I tell people and coach people to create a life of freedom and chase their passion if I'm not fucking chasing my passion and create my own life of freedom? You know what I'm saying? So I realized for myself, like, it just wasn't for me to try to have an agency, because the only reason I even did it was I was following a coach or a guru or whatever that was like, you can service all these people. So I took my vast technical background and built an agency out of it. And I realized, like, yeah, the money's cool and everything, but fuck money, right? So I was like, the money is not making me happy right now. Like, you know, what makes me more happy is being able to do what I want when I want on my own terms.
How you want.
You know, exactly how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I just started working with like one-on-one coaches, like personal mindset coaches, development coaches, automotive guys, cannabis guys, CBD. And like, I started like falling in love with what I was doing again. And I was like, well, I finally found it. Right. So I honed in on that, and now I'm golden again. But it's just like, I had that own self-realization of like, yeah, you need to chase your passion, because like, even having all the money, right, doesn't fucking mean like you're gonna be happy. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people think it's gonna feel different when you have that money. Like, you know what I mean? If you could be on the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey and somebody's gonna say, hey, you're gonna have a $23,000 month, and then that is going to be the thing that makes you say, fuck all of this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because you're gonna be like,
right,
whatever, like, there's no fucking way.
But it becomes such a huge problem and such a huge issue if you, like you said, if you lack the system or lack the team or lack the construct to you know, divvy some of that work out, it becomes a fucking problem. Yeah, I think we've all been there. I think anybody who's had even a little bit of success, really, even if somebody has like, you know, 1 or 2 people that do things for them on the side, I think everybody has been there, because usually that's why you go get people to do things for you, is because you feel that experience.
Yeah.
I need to step out of this.
Well, like, once I started doing that to where I could switch gears and focus on what I enjoyed, right? Because I got the other side of the perspective of people saying, bro, you could be pocketing $400,000 a year, but you have a team instead, so now you're only pocketing a part of that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, but look at it this way. Would I be able to serve all those clients if I was doing it all myself? Would I absolutely be head over heels in love with what I do if I was doing it all myself? And the other side of the coin is those individuals on my team are loyal to me for life because I help free them.
Exactly.
Right? Because when all the guys, or most of the guys on my team, are like in different countries and overseas and stuff.
Of
right?
course.
So, and I could easily pay them like $5 an hour because that's like their going rate and that's all they expect or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no, what do you need to have a good life? Because I'm gonna make you a part of my team,
exactly.
right? And I just build a family and I give them a way out. And now I have a loyal tribe of people that we're just going to be able to continue to scale and work. And we're all doing things we're passionate about versus me trying to do everything, just trying to keep all the money and everything myself. Is like you said, a good business owner, a good leader knows when to let go or how to let go,
Exactly.
right? It's more important to learn how to let go than it is to learn how to hold on to everything.
Yeah, and that's probably well, I hope people don't have that misconception about growth. Growth usually starts with a massive step back, and that step back is either going to be in time or capital or usually both. Because as soon as you start to set yourself up to scale, you have to account for all the time you need to build the strategy, all the time you need to train the people. And then when you get in a position like we're in right now, where it's kind of a well-oiled machine, if somebody falls off, it's easy to plug in, things of that nature. It's a whole lot easier. But that first initial commitment to scaling, for most businesses, it is a step back. For most businesses, it involves taking on some form of debt or relinquishing some form of equity. That's how most businesses really set themselves up to grow, as far as building systems, accepting capital, going out and getting loans and things of that nature to get equipment, and et cetera, et cetera. So, if anybody's thinking about, possibly setting themselves up to scale, don't feel like it's a situation where, it's January, you scaled now because you have a system, and by February you should be turning up 500% of what you were doing.
No, that's not how it works. Yeah,
Right.
you're
It
just
doesn't work like
setting
that.
yourself up for success. Like
Exactly.
that's the idea. Is you're setting yourself up to where you're not the single point of failure. Because if you're smart, right? Like I wish I could go back to and talk to myself and say, Marv, build your CRM first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I could go back and say, Marv, iron this shit out first. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But you just got to figure out those life lessons, and that's the whole point of hiring coaches is because coaches can say, hey, look, I was in your shoes. This is the mistakes I've made, and I see myself in you. This is what I would be doing instead of doing that shit you're doing right now. But if you want to do that, go ahead. But I'm just saying, I've been there, done that. Like I wish I could go back and tell myself, like, develop those processes and those systems first because I would have had such an easier time growing and scaling. I might have not even had my bucket month had I spent the time initially to dial in those processes, right?
Exactly.
Because it was so easy for me to get lost in building process and everything for other people. I wasn't doing it in my own business. Like I didn't take a step back to build my own process, but I'm out here building processes for everybody else. But
Exactly.
like what's the link to book a call with you? What's the link to this? And what's the link? I was like, I know I just set all that shit up for you, but I don't have all that shit set up for you.
For myself. Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
it was a very important and transformative, you know, time in my agency's life whenever we did switch from that, when I had to take that month to step back and say, all right, I'm gonna do this, but I need to do it in a different way.
Well, in my opinion, and it's funny how there's, no matter where you go within society, there's a hierarchy, whether it be the government to citizens or your boss to an employee, it doesn't matter what it is, or a household to the kids, there's hierarchies everywhere. And it's in order to feel the relinquishing of the ego that is needed to do something like you said, go out and look for a coach. You talk about it now in the midst of your success, and it seems easy, but that's not easy for a lot of people. The
Right.
idea of going out and getting a coach is not easy. These are very intimate ideas that people have success with, or that people find with their ideas that bring them success. And when you think in the hierarchy as well, from the time that we're in school, from the time that we leave school, we go to college. If you do that, you leave college, you go to work. We're not really encouraged to share our ideas much.
Right, we're encouraged to like have this scarcity mindset of
Right.
like
So how did you
if you
get
let your idea out there, like you're gonna fucking like everybody's gonna steal
It's
your
bad.
idea and you're gonna be stuck.
It's either that. It's gonna get stolen if it's good. You're gonna get laughed at if it's bad. Nobody's gonna take you seriously. Take your pick. Whichever way it goes, it's terrible. So how do you get in a position where something like, inviting somebody in for your most intimate ideas that are gonna put food on the table for your kids, where you talk about it so easily?
What it was for me was, so when I left Microsoft, right, I was given up $130,000 a year job.
Right.
When I left, I had $7,000 in my bank account. That was supposed to last me for until I needed to make money, right? Like
Right.
overhead wise, I could have carried myself for like 2 months if I held on to my new car. Because, of course, I had a new car every other year.
Yeah, 10 grand a
I'm
month.
trying to stunt on these motherfuckers because at the time I care about people's opinion that don't fucking matter.
Right. Which $130,000 will usually do to you if you don't.
If you like, when I was working at Microsoft, I will admit I was fully enveloped in that fucking Microsoft lifestyle. Steakhouses every night, fucking nice clothes, nice car, big house. Like, just like when I look back at it, I've made over $1 million in the last 7 years, and I have no idea what I did with all my money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It takes a lot of self-reflection.
Because you get so sucked into that lifestyle that you have so much money, and you're just
often that lifestyle is
you're like on an automated machine of just like, yeah, we're going to the steakhouse, and yeah, we're doing this and we're doing that, and it's just the way of life. You know what I'm saying? And when I made that transition and I quit, and over the course of leading up to that, I had bought a couple courses and a couple things, and like I basically got burned, right? Because they were coaches and stuff that I shouldn't have invested in because I was already a step ahead of them. So I just invested in the wrong coaches, right? Because I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, man, this shit is so basic. I already know this. Why did I pay $1,500 for this fucking course, right? So I held back on hiring a coach, but then I took $3,500 out of that $7,000 and I bet it all by going on to this conference with Billy Jean. Billy Jean is a big marketing dude. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yep.
But I went to his in-person workshop for 2 days in San Diego.
Worth it.
And I paid extra to have the VIP experience where I could sit in a private room with him and ask him questions and shit. And I was basically like, I have all these ideas. I just quit Microsoft. I'm banking everything on doing this. And I'm scared that if I put out content, either people are going to, like you said, they're either going to laugh at me thinking it's a bad idea or they're going to think it's a great idea. Whatever it was, I was like, how do I know people are going to take me serious and do that? And he was just like, because you're the real fucking deal. Like, and I had not known this, but apparently he watched my videos and shit before the conference. So he already know who Big Marv was. Like, he already saw some of my videos before. So he's like, the difference between you and the other guys buying these courses you're the real fucking deal. Like, you've been working on computers for 20 fucking years. Like, you're not just some guy that bought a course. You actually know what the fuck it is you're talking about. So just put it out there. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to love it. Just do it, though. Right? And you'll succeed. And then I got really invested in his courses, and it was actually teaching me things and teaching me how to scale and process and do all these things. I'm like, okay, it wasn't like at that point in time, like including the $3,500, I had probably invested around $8,000 or $9,000 in personal development and mindset coaching and things like that, because I had gotten burned so many times before Billie Jean. I hadn't really the thought of like, I need to hire a coach or hire this or hire that, because I was like, that shit don't work, until I met Billie Jean. Right now,
it's impossible not to be skeptical.
Now, since then, because it radically changed my life so much, I've invested about $35,000.
Exactly.
And now I personally have a Facebook ads coach, a mindset coach, a business coach, and I have business partners, and I rely on so many people to help me keep my shit on lock and keep going. And connecting yourself, your network is your net worth. Like, I figured that out too, right? So by connecting myself with all these high-level entrepreneurs, people making 6, 7, and 8 figures, and hiring coaches that are 7 and 8 figures. It's not like it's some magic pill or something. Like, it still takes a lot of hard fucking work to succeed at doing what I'm doing. But what it is it's lining me up with the opportunity to talk to that 7-figure coach that has probably been in my shoes, so I can say, hey, when you were scaling from 6 to 7 figures, what did you do to make this transition? You know, what did you do to succeed here? And then I can analyze all these people and make the decision best for me based on data. And so that's what my feeling is about coaching and courses, is that don't look at it as a magic pill. Take the time to vet your coach and make sure it's somebody that's going to align with you first. Mm-hmm. Like, what I say is find somebody who's fucking killing it and whatever it is that you want to do. Follow their process.
Isn't it weird how many people don't do that though? A lot of people just don't do that. That seems like a very easy thing to do. Gravitate towards somebody who's doing well and what you want to do, vet them, and then try to join them.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
There's so many obstacles that you have to jump over, pertaining to fear and ego and sometimes family pulling you left and right if they don't want you taking the financial risk, and so it definitely can be a pressing situation. But it's a necessity. When you get to a certain level, it's a necessity. It really is.
Yeah, it's like, there's no magic pills out there. I can't stress this to you motherfuckers enough. There is nothing that exists that's going to make you earn 7 figures overnight, much less a month. Has it happened to people?
Much less a month. Yes, every month. Has
it happened to people? Absolutely. Could it happen to you? Sure. Likeliness of it happening, slim. Right? But find somebody that's absolutely fucking killing it in what you're doing. Put in the hard work and make it happen. It's a shortcut to your success only because you're avoiding mistakes that they've made before.
Exactly.
It'd be expensive mistake. And expensive could just be a time mistake, right? Like, you could spend 7 months building something that you feel is a perfect course, but you never did any pre-launch or strategy or market research to find out if the market even wanted this course you've been working on for 7 months. Now you just lost 7 months of time.
Well, right? And time doesn't become money until you start making money. And then you realize that time definitely is money, and it's nothing less than that. So that's definitely probably the asset that I want to lose the least. So accuracy is something that we're huge on.
Resource that no matter how much money's in your bank, you're not getting more time back.
You're not, and you'll always have
never getting that time back.
Yeah, it's agreed.
So, tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to come find you, follow you. I know you said Commerce Puzzle. Tell us a little bit about Commerce Puzzle and what you guys do and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so Commerce Puzzle, like I said, it's a brand strategy and advertising consultancy company. And we literally do anything and everything that involves increasing your brand awareness, increasing your brand image, and then off of those, creating a strategy, and then off of that, increasing the capital that comes into your business based off of that strategy. CommercePuzzle.com is our website. Commerce Puzzle, just pretty much at any platform you can really find us at. It's as far as expansion goes, I will say this: a lot of anything that we do now, we cover very thoroughly online. We are looking to expand into video, hopefully sometime. When I say this year, I'm referring to our year. So we just got done with a year on, I think, May 23rd. So, before May 23rd next year, we're definitely looking to include some video. We're really big on analytics. We're really big on data aggregation. And, that's really pretty much all there is. It's funny because the way that we pitch, I suppose, is by a lack of pitching. We really look people in the eyes and tell them that this truly is a situation that is so custom that it requires a conversation, period. I can sit here and talk to you about what worked for somebody else, but if you have a product on your shelf that may increase your ROI tenfold, but you just don't have the eyes to recognize it yet, we might be spending all the time talking about something that we're wasting our time on. So we really, really try to relinquish the idea that there's a package for somebody, or that there's a magic pill, as you said, or that there's a specific route. And we try to get people in for strategy sessions, and we close them down that way. All of our clients have seen great growth. All of our clients, more importantly, get tools that they can like take and use for life. And when I say tools that they can use for life, I mean strategies and you know, the system that goes behind a lot of the platforms that are built. So for example, if somebody was to take, you know, try to expand their website, or go to another company, or go to another SEO company, what makes us different is a lot of the information that we trade with you during that time increases your accuracy in decision making as a business owner. So that's kind of how we get down.
I love what you're doing. You know, data-driven results. Like, there's nothing better than data-driven results. And I believe in the same thing. I believe it's all a sacrifice of time or money, right? Like, for me, I remember what it was like to just start up as an entrepreneur and being lost, and literally, like, when you listen to these gurus and coaches and they say, like, how do you combat the objection of, I don't have the money? Like, I love your service and blah, blah, and the average coach will say, that's bullshit. They'll figure out how to find them. But, like, literally for me, I'm from the trap. You know, I don't have family members. I don't have good credit. Like, literally, like, trust me, bro, I believe you. I wish I had $5,000. I would give it to you right now. But I don't have a grandma or mama. I don't have nobody to give me that $5,000.
The actual, so, like, I don't have it. The real
meaning of that. Don't have it.
Right, there's a difference.
It's not that I'm just trying to avoid you. Like, I'm keeping it 100 with you. I just don't have it.
It doesn't matter who came through and asked for 5,000. Nobody's getting it
I just don't fucking have it.
Exactly.
So I was like, I want to create a way for people to do what I'm doing and capital not being the issue, right? So I always tell people, I always coach people, it's time or money, which one do you want to trade? So I never have to sell anyone, because I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on my YouTube and my Facebook, because I'm like, look, everything I'm teaching you, how to build the strategy, the different platforms, the builds, everything, you can watch for free. It's going to take you a lot of time, because you're going to have to try to do it, because, remember, I've been doing this for fucking years, right? And I'm a pro, so, like, I've had people, it takes me less than an hour to build a funnel from scratch, like brand new funnel. And I'll release that funnel build, and somebody will message me and say, Big Marv, I watched it. It took me 6 hours. It still don't look as good and doesn't function. I was just like, they're like, how the fuck did you do that in 47 minutes? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's time or money. You can either pay my team to do it for you, or you can do it for free.
And what's going on between that time is the value that you're providing them too.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't have to even pitch them, because I'm delivering so much fucking value that they're like, when they have the money, they're going to come to me.
You become an asset in their eyes. You become an asset to their business.
Yeah, because in their eyes, they're like, this dude's fucking valuable. Like, I can't wait to hire this guy to help me with my business, because he's the real fucking deal. And I'm able to watch his videos and do this for free. So I'm going to hustle and spend all my time trying to figure out how to do this. And then when I get the opportunity, right, I'm going to try to work with them. And then they'll be following my page. And when I get, like, case study spots open, and I'm like, I got 2 spots available. Who's been grinding and wants to have a free case study done with them? You know? And, like, and I'll have those people that I've been watching, like, fuck, I've been waiting for the opportunity. Let's make it happen, you know? So,
and another thing that's important that you're saying from this, too, is I think another thing that a lot of people get confused about is what making $100,000 looks like. It's so, and when I say easy, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. There's probably somebody in your apartment complex, if you're in one, that pulls in $100,000 a year if they're an entrepreneur, and especially within the digital ad space or anything like that. So when you start making these landmarks, like, I want to, like you said, a $23,000 a month, that may sound insane and crazy for people hearing that, but really and truly it's not. And more importantly, a $23,000 a month does not accompany a yacht. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a Lamborghini or a motorcycle or even a bunch of new clothes or anything like that. A lot of times,
you know what that was for me?
They collected that reach.
That was 40 to 50% overhead, right? And then that was another 20% back into the business to continue.
Exactly. It's just doesn't.
Then
It's the whole reality is a lot different.
You know, like they say, more money, more problems. Like now, instead of worrying about like when my rent's gonna get paid, I'm worrying about, can I do that $10,000 investment?
Exactly, and that's a bigger failure than rent.
Different set of problems. It's just,
and that's a bigger problem. It's a bigger failure than rent because it's gonna rip out everything that pays your rent if it goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a whole new set of problems.
If this fails, not only do I not get my rent paid, but this happens too.
Exactly.
It's just a whole different classification of problems.
I definitely agree with you there. But problems that I feel like a lot of people can have and a lot of people can enjoy to have if they buckle down. And it's weird because a lot of this conversation has been based around accepting help, but the vetting thing we both agreed on, and I think it's something that we both accept as an ultimate truth, and it's unacceptable if you don't. But maybe we should go a little heavier on that to, close it out. Like, you should vet these people that are coming to help you, but you should also get help. It's a two-part combination. And if you do,
absolutely.
And if you do, I feel like most entrepreneurs can be in a great position because there's so much information out there these days that there is a lot of successful people for you to go and, kind of leech some information off of, for sure.
Yeah, make sure, like, I will agree with him 100%. Just vet your tribe. Vet the people around you. Keep the people closest to you, somebody that relates to your circle, somebody that lifts you up, empowers you. And, like, if you're looking for outside help, you're looking to hire someone, don't just fucking fall for that first Facebook ad you see. Especially if that money that you're about to spend on that course is going to hurt you. Right? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs. I was in that position. The very first course I bought, that hurt.
Precisely.
Like,
and like you said, it fucked up your perception for a long time.
And it took me a long time to buy another course at that rate because I saved up for 3 months to get that $1,500. And it ended up being a course that didn't help me because it was one of those courses, how to build WordPress sites and charge $10,000 for them. It was so fucking basic that I was a developer for 10 years, and had I vetted the fucking guy first, I would have looked at his work and said that my work shits all over this guy's work, so why am I going to pay him $1,500 to teach me how to build a WordPress site that already shits on his?
And sometimes that willingness will get you anxious and make you skip steps. And it's important for people to really listen to what you're saying. Somebody who spent time in Microsoft, somebody who was a developer for 10 years, bought an entry-level course without vetting simply because the whole entrepreneurial idea was enough to create that tunnel vision, as it does with everybody.
Yeah.
And if you can, oh my gosh, if you can break out of that tunnel vision, you can save yourself.
What I like to call it is shiny toy buyer.
Yes.
You can break out of that, oh my God, this is the magic pill that's going to do it for me.
Absolutely.
And it could be your magic pill, but research the motherfucker first and make sure.
That's it. That's all we're saying is it's the vetting process.
That's all I'm saying is research the motherfucker first. Because, like, if you're, let's just say, spinning up a health and beauty store and you're going to be selling makeup, for example, why the fuck are you following a health guru where their specialty is releasing and scaling gyms?
Exactly.
Right? So, like, if I'm starting up Mary Kay, that'd be like me buying Alex Hormozi's course, which is Gym Launch, by the way, if you don't know who that is.
Right.
Alex Hormozi's whole thing is how to take a brick and mortar gym and blow them up to making $1 million as a small private gym.
Exactly.
If you're fucking spinning up a Mary Kay fucking beauty e-commerce store, why the fuck are you buying her Alex Hormozi stuff? I get it. That's a good ad. That was a good funnel. But Gym Launch is not going to help your fucking...
It's not going to help you. But it's so crazy how...
Grant Cardone's real estate fucking course is not going to help you with your fucking... I don't give a fuck who Grant Cardone is. I don't care who Dean Graziosi is. I don't give a fuck. I'm not building real estate, so I'm not going to buy your fucking course because your shit is real estate. Okay,
it's so important. It's so important.
That's all I'm saying.
It's the ego, man. It does crazy things, and I think a lot of times people think the ego is just runs linear and is involved with arrogance, and it's not that. That shiny new toy is a reflection of the ego. When we let these things get amplified and we let things look brighter than they are, or toys look shinier than they are, it can wipe out years of experience. It can wipe out years of being analytical, years of previous expectation, that if you just applied that expectation to what you're spending your money on, then you would not even spend your money on it in the first place. And it's just it's important for people to hear and see that somebody can be successful and then look back and be like, these are the things that I wish I wouldn't have done. And they're things that we can all relate to. We all see the ads. More importantly, when you get successful, you don't stop buying the ads. You just start buying different ones that are a little more expensive.
Yeah. You start connecting to different groups.
Exactly.
Like now for me, I've elevated from courses to now I'm part of different high-level mastermind groups.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
right?
so
now I go to high-level private networking events.
Right. Exactly.
So rather than paying $1,000 on a course, I'm paying $5,000 a year or $10,000 a year to be inside these mastermind groups where I'm positioning myself as an authority figure in my shit in those groups, right?
And at the end of the day, this whole conversation is based around, I think, putting yourself in a position as an entrepreneur to soak up an absolute abundance of relevant information to your industry, your product, your service, or what your goal is or what it is that you're doing. It's just like a carpenter. You got to get better at it by doing it. It's just like anything else, any other skill set or expertise. So you should probably go to somebody who spent that time, perfecting their craft.
That is a perfect analogy, right? Think of it this way, right? Say it's a metal worker or a metal fabricator, or like you said, a woodworker, carpenter. They build this beautiful, magnificent fucking metal and wood bar, right? And it's like $100,000 bar because it's fucking hand hammered copper and brass finish with fucking nice cedar wood, cut and you're like, holy shit, but that's like 10 years of doing it. And if you want to be a woodworker or a blacksmith or a metal worker, you're not just going to dive in and create $100,000 bar and sell it to someone. You're going to go be an apprentice, work from apprentice to journeyman, from journeyman to expert, from expert, you're going to fucking put in the work, put in the ranks, and then after 10 years, maybe you're a pro and you're making that $100,000 bar. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a perfect analogy. Think of it that way. Like, when you're online looking at ways to build and scale your entrepreneur business, find those pros that build that $100,000 bar, doing exactly what it is.
Your $100,000 bar, exactly. Yours.
And you go fucking consume everything that they do. You be their apprentice, learn, move yourself up the ranks. Like, that's a perfect fucking analogy. I'm going to use that again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it is. And that's what I said. Like, as soon as people, that's what I meant by as soon as people can start looking at this online space more as a brick and mortar space with the expectations, people will start doing those things and treating it like that more. Because, it doesn't matter. I don't know what town you live in or what it's set up like, but I'm sure you have mom and pop shops there. I'm positive that you do.
I'm in Oregon.
There you go. Just imagine walking into a mom and pop shop and trying to replace the table that they have without providing any value. It's just not going to happen.
If I just go in there and say, you see all this shit you have taped in the windows, like, you need to get rid of that and put this new poster up. I can guarantee it's going to bring people in. They're going to say, first of all, who the fuck are you? Second of all, we've been here for 100 years.
But literally, if you were to send those people that through a Facebook message, they might just accept it.
Imagine, like, through a Facebook message versus just walking in the door and saying that.
Yeah.
Like, in a Facebook message, they'll probably just block you and be like, fuck this guy. If you walked in and said that, they'd probably slap you in the face and be like,
absolutely.
Get out of here.
Absolutely. So people just need to realign their expectations. Be critical, just as you would if somebody was walking into your business and telling you to change everything around because it can bring more customers. If somebody does it online, that's exactly what somebody's still doing. You just can't feel it because they're not walking inside of your mom and pop shop, but I promise you that's the exact same thing. So, just be diligent.
You gotta realize that this is a paid skill set with different levels, just like anything else. As soon as people realize that, yes, what we do is a valuable skill set. Yes, there's different levels of this skill set. no, we can't all just go grab a $200,000 to $100,000 retainer. Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
all start from somewhere, and no, we're not all going to do it the same way. Like as soon as people realize that this is just another marketable skill set that gets better over time based on your processes, the better off we'll all be.
That's it.
No
That's
magic
it.
pills. There's
I don't
no
know when
that. It's just
I'm quoting
you're
it at 10
practicing
years.
building a skill set. That's all you're doing.
Maybe 10 years. That's what I'm saying. It might be 10 years because I'm hoping I'm hoping that voice will come in and maybe wash away some of this digital marketing situation right now, and then might be the new craze. And then this can kind of settle down into the industry that it is and that it deserves to be, with entry barriers and separate levels and stuff like that. And then all the craze can be directed towards something else that will eventually.
Well, yeah, we're in the
even out.
technical age. Like I believe that sometime over the next 10 or 20 years, brick and mortar stores are going to go away completely, and it's going to become warehouses that are auto shipped.
It's gonna be.
Right?
It's gonna get.
It's going to be a
You
crazy
can't be
fucking world to
convenient.
live in, you
You
know?
can't be convenience. Like
But you can't.
convenience
Yeah,
is
like
everything.
we're humans. We're biologically programmed to find the most efficient way to do something.
Period. And by that literally means exert the least amount of energy. That's why it's so fucking fun to be lazy. That's true. That we are wired that way.
Once it gets to the point where we can Uber everything from our fucking phone, that is exactly what every human being.
That's what it's gonna do. Exactly.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if your mom and pop store has been there for 300 fucking years. I'm sorry, mom and pop, but that shit is going bye-bye. The only reason
Especially if you sell products.
is if you spend the time building a personal brand now that people love you so much, they're still going to buy your shit after you automate it.
And even still, if it's a product, it's probably going away.
Yeah.
Unless it can be shipped. The service industry, of course. I mean, you got to go get a haircut and et cetera, et cetera. But man, if you push a product, you're going to get hit hard in this next decade.
Especially if it's a physical product, like
oh my god,
like this shit, like this shit. I'm not.
Oh my god.
Smoke shops are gonna go away. Vape shops are gonna go away.
You have to be
Wait
trying
till
to
you
position
can order
yourself.
weed on the internet.
Just
Like
that.
dispensaries are gonna definitely go away once you get weed on the internet.
Absolutely,
You know
and people always think people always think that something's invincible, an industry is invincible, a brand, but it's not that. It's not that.
Wait till they automate buying a car, bro.
Oh yeah.
Where they have an automated garage where you search and say, I want this car, and then it opens up the door and you can test drive that car in a closed track that turns the ignition off if you go too far.
If you go too far, and that's all simple. That's all just setting it up. You fucking geofence it, you build it.
And we already have the technology.
That's what I'm saying. That's all.
That
if anybody's listening to this thinking it's crazy,
because
people are
gonna be like, I don't want to deal with the salesman. I just want the car. I will search online and find my own car. And if you can automate the whole test drive and loan part to where I can just eliminate that human being completely, I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've ever bought a car before, then you know it's an all fucking day event.
And it's fucking, oh my god, I hate it.
And it's
always,
annoying as shit.
It always turns into that because it's just like they're just there. They're there. They have to try to build a rapport. I understand. I get it. They're trying to do their job. It's a lot. You
want to know how I buy a car now? Now I get pre-approved through my bank, so I know exactly how much money I can spend. I research, find the car I want, go to the dealer,
and do it like it's cash.
I actually do them a solid. I'm like, hey, who's your newest sales guy?
There you go.
And then I go to that sales guy and say, hey, is this car still available? I already got pre-approved. I already got to go get the keys. I'm taking it home today.
That's it.
And they're like, what? That's never happened to me before. I was like, I know. I knew somebody was going to get commission, and I wanted to hook you up, bro.
That's it.
And that's just all it is. So
things are most definitely going to change. Things are most definitely going to go heavy with automation. And again, if you're pushing or have a physical product, at least be educating yourself. And most importantly, if you're on the client side of all this, start looking at this as the skill set that it is and start judging and vetting the people that you're allowing to provide a skill to you. And then you'll be better off with the technology run that we have coming up.
Now, to close this show out, I want to leave with what is your purpose, right? So you say that you hope to leave a legacy in an area that will be the most effective And your studies will reveal that as time goes on. You want to break into that a little bit before we let the audience go?
Yeah, absolutely. It has absolutely 100% nothing to do with business. To me, business is a medium. I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, so pretending like I'm not going to participate, I think is just maybe reserved for the youth a little bit, maybe some rebellion. And that's like pretty much an ideology that you have to let go. So yeah, I look at business as my tool to hopefully position myself in a way to where I have enough capital to literally, like I said, make the best decision or the best set of decisions that's going to put the people around me and the people around them in the best position possible. And what I mean by that is this. You know, if I, throughout the course of my studies over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, if I find that I can leave my biggest impact by digging in and trying to, you know, resuscitate an economically distressed area, then I'm going to do that. If I figure that I can do it by trying to improve or help with education, then I'm going to do that. So I'm really dedicating my time right now to soaking up as much information as possible. I'm a philosophy student by heart. That's my love over business by far, philosophy and family. And yeah, I'm just really gonna buckle down and you know,
So
I submit to the idea of being a student. Right now, I'm really I have this intimate relationship with not committing to any ideas. And it's something that people have an issue with these days, but it's something that allows me to one day make the best decision and put this capital and this expertise that I have now and you know, load it up and pull the trigger.
I absolutely love that. So you've already accepted that it's your responsibility to be a leader and take care of your tribe. So right now, you're just being a capitalist, collecting the capital so you can put yourself in the position to do just that, take care of your tribe,
Literally,
which is exactly what I'm doing. For me, fuck time, fuck money. They're both variables that humans created to assign worth. For me, I'm a born leader. My life goal is to have a 100-acre self-sustaining farm that I can literally have my tribe on with wind, solar, and water power and something I've been mapping out for years, and I will get there, you know. But I'm a born leader. I've concreted a path. I've built processes, and it's my responsibility to this planet to spread the knowledge that I have and bring people up with me. So yes, am I a capitalist pig right now? Absolutely. Am I making a ton of capital and building businesses? Absolutely. But that I'm doing that because to fulfill my long-term destiny, which is to leave a legacy for my tribe, I have to do that.
Have to have money. Have to have money, and more importantly, assets. Have to collect assets depending on whatever happens or whatever changes. And I agree completely. And it's interesting, you know, it's always interesting to see what motivates people to get into business and what people, you know, want to do. And you never know because those are all very intimate ideas, but it's nice to know that there's somebody else that has I suppose, a purpose that's completely opposite of everything that you're doing right now. But you have the self-awareness, you know, and the analytical savviness to be able to say, okay, well, let me buckle down, increase my assets, increase my ability to make impact and make change, and then we'll get it going after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm building right now is I want to leave a legacy that will take care of my tribe and thousands of people many years after I'm gone.
Absolutely, man. And my big thing, it's this one big thing that I always had since I was little. And I played sports when I was younger. If I could go back and change it, I never would have. They were fine. They were fun. But I've always had when I was younger, I had an interest in invention. And now as I'm starting to get older, I realize that really invention is a byproduct of, you know, where society is at the time. And very rarely does invention equal innovation. There's just a very few people who are responsible for true innovation. When I look and then I say, okay, well, you know, a lot of impact that's been made in this world wasn't necessarily made from invention. It was made from organizing the assets available to them at that time in a certain pattern. Just like you want to be able to do. You didn't say you wanted to, you know, invent anything or innovate anything. You want to take advantage of the technology that we have and use it in a way that you see fit, which should be self-sustaining, you know, positive for the environment, I would imagine. And that's it's just nice to see people have a similar mindset and rearranging the assets that are available to them, because I struggled a long time with the idea that I had to invent something, come up with something new. But in the back of my head, I've always wanted to make an impact as big as a refrigerator, which is just weird. But there's a refrigerator. It's been that specifically. But there's a fucking refrigerator everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how I can do.
Well, brother, it was good having you on the show. Any last words before I let you go?
That's it, man. I mean, if you guys are interested in building a process and building a business, just go ahead and, Google Commerce Puzzle or Google Colorado Springs Web Design and pick Commerce Puzzle out of the front page there, and we'll get to work. And besides for that, business to me is one of the least important things. I think there's more important things as far as education. And education is not going to school. Education is soaking in information wherever you can get it from.
Exactly.
So as far as education, even if it's self-education, sharpening your skill set, I am a believer that that's how you get to where you want to go. And that's pretty much it.
Exactly. If your passion is law or health or something, by all means, go get that degree, boo-boo. But if you haven't figured out your why yet, don't go drop $100,000 at a university just cause.
You're gonna put yourself in a position that you regret for a long time.
Like, my wife is a perfect example. She's a registered nurse, and she's gonna be in the healthcare industry forever. She's paying off her loan. She's actually utilizing her degree.
Right.
I have $20,000 left. That's not even all the debt. That's just what I have left. Yeah, I'm not doing shit with my degree.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get in that position. That's a big one. And hey, when you're trying to do the right thing and live by the right rules and paying your bills and stuff like that, and you fuck around and get $50, $60, $70, $80,000 in debt, try to take that student loan, pay that every month, and then try to start a business on top of that. God.
You're fucked. You have from experience.
It's hard.
There's this little thing called debt to income ratio.
Oh yeah, that'll get you every time.
Oh, you're starting a business and you make no money, but you're $80,000 in debt. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. So if you
it's not like you can't write off student loan debt. That shit is with you for life.
Forever.
You're done, Ski.
Forever. So I recommend skipping that whole situation if you can.
If you can skip it, do it. If you need it, go for it. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm just going to say vet your life decisions and make sure you're making the best decision for you.
100%.
Oh, yeah, and Zeke just crashed my side table, so I guess that's the end of the show there.
There you go.
All right,
well, I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks again for having you. And thanks again for coming on the show. This is Big Marv. Make sure you guys tune in next Friday for another interview with another great entrepreneur. Evan, again, thank you. One love, brother.
Excellent. Have a good one, man. Thank you.
Bye.